in our special extended edition of This Week in Wrestling, we have 2 pay-per-view, or 1.5, depending on how you look at TakeOver. Right. So, Carl, do you want to do SummerSlam and I do TakeOver, or do you want to do TakeOver and I do SummerSlam? Your choice.
Well, since you're the NXT guy, do you want to do TakeOver?
Okay, that seems fair. So, this is NXT TakeOver XXX, the 18-plus TakeOver, or the one with Vin Diesel in it. Who knows? Right. As far as the card goes, Carl, and I'll apologise for the first one. We had the Legado del Fantasma versus Breezango versus Lorcan and Birch. Sorry, it was a triple threat tag match to determine the number 1 contender for the NXT tag team titles, which was a pre-show that I never saw. My bad. So somebody won that. Let's find out who. Let's guess.
They did.
Do you know, Carl? I don't.
I haven't got a fucking clue. I didn't watch either of the pre-shows.
The fact that it was not a tag match and a number 1 contender match just lost my interest anyway. But pre-show bollocks. So we opened the night with Tim Thatcher versus Finn Balor. And we saw Finn Balor taking the win. Now, I do have some comments on that, but overall, a good match. We had the North American title ladder match. We saw Bronson Reed, Damien Priest, Johnny Gargano, Cameron Grimes, and the Velveteen Dream go up against each other for the North American title, with Damien Priest taking the win.
Surprising.
Not sure how I feel about that. We saw Adam Cole versus Pat Mccaff. Now, we both mentioned, or is it Mccaffey? Sorry. We both mentioned this. Adam Cole took the win, ultimately, for those who don't know at this point. And overall, surprisingly good match. We saw Io Shirai go up against Dakota Kai for the women's title, with Io Shirai retaining and taking the win. Yeah, I think that's the right result, to be fair. Overall, decent match. Then we saw the night close out with the Limitless One, which is probably going to need changing now, versus Karrion Kross for the NXT title. And we saw Karrion Kross take the win and rip his shoulder off. So, as far as highlights go, Carl, I mentioned Balor briefly, but genuinely, Tim Thatcher versus Balor. This is the first time I've seen Balor move out of first gear in a while. Like, he actually put some effort into this match. It was a good match, and it's been a long time since I've seen Balor actually seem like he's not just coasting through NXT. I feel like his run in NXT this time around has been very fucking, after, okay. He might as well be Orange Cassidy the way he's booking him for himself, to be honest with you. But yeah, this was the first time I've seen him actually like put a really good match, like put some effort in, like he wanted to win, like there was some incentive there. So I was quite pleased with that. It has to go as a highlight because it's the best Balor I've seen since he's come back to NXT.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. You know, I think he has looked like he's been coasting, but like he did step up. This match was actually really good. I do feel bad on Thatcher because since the Riddle thing, he hasn't really seemed to manage to pull anything together. But for me at the minute, I just can't get behind Balor because I don't know what his gimmick is. I don't know who he is. Like he
spells Prince with an X now, and he leans like a little bit too far back for me. Like
yeah, and it's like, well, what are you?
You're gonna fall, Finn.
Like. Is he trying to be the Bullet Club now or what? Like, because it doesn't work. I know he was the Balor Club for a bit, and that was a load of shit. So, What is he? I just want the Demon back. The Demon was good.
But I mean, I quite like that they're protecting the Demon. Like, he's like, I'm not doing the Demon on NXT. No, like, fine, that's cool. I only want to see the Demon when it's worth seeing the Demon. So I'm kind of okay with him not using it at the minute because he knows what's being booked, and he's like, no, not doing that. I'm fine with that. Could have had the Demon with him and Thatcher though. It would have been all right. But yeah, all in all, surprisingly good match, and it's nice to see Balor putting a bit of effort in again. Right, another highlight for me, and I'd be interested in how you feel, was Candice LeRae getting in the mix on this ladder match, like to the point that she was involved in some high spots where she jumped on Bronson Reed's back and he dove down onto everyone else with her still on his back, and I'm like, fair play, she's proper got in the mix there, and I don't know if they're pushing it, like, see, women can get involved, like, I know I've mentioned a few hundred times WWE a bit squeamish about intergender matches, but this to me is a clear sign that they're not bothered about getting them involved in some big spots and some stories. She was obviously there to try and fuck stuff up to get Gargano the win, but fucking hell, she didn't half get in the mix. I was quite impressed.
Yeah, she's off red, Candice. She's always been very heavily in the mix with the fellas and stuff as well, so she can definitely handle herself. So I thought it was pretty funny, especially that one where on Bronson's back. It made me chuckle.
Yeah, that borderline, like, yeah, you're just like a backpack, aren't you? He doesn't even notice you're there. To be honest, I was not big on Bronson when he first came into it, and I was all for him winning this fucking ladder match. I think he had a really good show, and I'm really getting over on him as a character. I think the problem for me, the first match I saw him in was against Karrion Kross, and he looked like he was tired, and he looked like he couldn't keep up, and I'm like, this guy's shit. But everything else I've seen him do, he's actually been really good. So I think just unfortunate because they were pushing Carrion like an absolute monster, I guess. But the only downside I have for the ladder match, because overall the ladder match was great and Bronson had a really good showing, was the fact that Damien Priest took the win. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I know you joked before around, fucking Triple X is actually going to be Vin Diesel. Is that who he's trying to be? Like, even his voice and everything. It's just like, it's who he reminds me of.
He's another one of these people who I feel like he's given himself his own nickname. He's a bit like the Murder Hawk Monster. Like,
Yeah.
I am the Archer of Infamy. What does that even fucking mean?
No idea. But yeah, like, I don't know, you can't take him seriously, can you? He's there just like, yeah, I'm going to celebrate in a hot tub now. And it's like, oh, okay. You do that then, you fucking
I'm very happy.
Yeah.
He sounded. But yeah, I mean, fair enough. He's put his time in there with NXT. I'm not against him being the North American champ, but it wasn't my pick for the win, and I don't know how I feel about him being the champion going forward. It will remain to be seen. Overall, the ladder match was really good, so fair enough. I feel like we might have talked about this one enough, Carl, but I'll mention it again anyway, was the fact that Pat Mccaffey was actually quite impressive in the ring.
He was. He was very
fair
impressive.
play. And we've mentioned, and I won't harp on too much, but we mentioned that a lot of it's down to Adam Cole being his partner and helping him sell a lot of stuff. But you can't deny that he went for some spots and stuff that people in his position would normally avoid. He definitely has a passion for wrestling and wanted to put his all into this match. And I think surprised a lot of people for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, I said before, I didn't even know who the fuck this guy was. I thought he was just going to be some silly celebrity who was getting involved, and it was going to be like a lame match that Cole was going to have to carry him like all the way through it. But by all accounts, this guy can fucking go, man. Yeah, I was really impressed with him. He's got agility. He's got like a no fucks given attitude. He's doing some crazy spots in there. Took a Panama Sunrise. Did some jumps to the outside. For a celebrity guest who isn't a pro wrestler.
Oh yeah.
Like, yeah, amazing.
I would happily see him again. Like that's the joy I've got with it. It's not like one of these ones where you go, oh, if we have to. I would happily see him in a match again. He was really good.
Yeah.
And here's an unusual one, Carl. I've got this next highlight is also an shite. And that is
interesting.
Karrion Kross taking the title is a highlight for me because Karrion Kross is a fucking beast. I love everything about the character. Him and Scarlett are fantastic. They really put the character across really well, and the sort of psychological warfare, the way his entrance is, the way the hourglass thing and all that. I love it, and I'm so glad he's got the title. But I'll go straight into it because that was my last highlight. The reason it's also an shite is because God, I feel bad for Keith Lee. Like his title reign has been an entire clusterfuck, right? I feel like he might have upset someone backstage because he went from being like this incredibly good North American title holder. He had a really long run, not as long as Adam Cole with the NXT title, but he was borderline. He had a good few hundred days under his belt as North American champ. Then they went for this sort of massive babyface pop where he won both titles at the Great American Bash, and then at that point turned him into a babyface moron instead. And we're like, I'm going to give away this one because I can. And then he goes on to have this total fucked over, like, yeah, what, how many weeks is he at? Like, what, 3 weeks? Did he get 3 weeks as a champion, as an NXT champion? Like, they went from the longest reigning NXT champion ever to this shit. And I'm like, who have you upset, Keith? Fuck. Because that's embarrassing. And this makes him look like more of an idiot for dropping the North American title.
Well, two things, Anthony, two things. Firstly, I thought he was much better without the belts. And then since he got the belts, for whatever reason, his whole character pissed me off. He was too babyface. He was too, like, I don't know, I want all you guys to have a chance. Like, I'm just, all this kind of stuff pissed me off. But some breaking news for you, Anthony. He hasn't upset anyone. He's going to Raw.
Now,
so he's upset everyone.
Main roster call-ups are not usually good for an NXT talent, especially one who is coming up as a big fucking loser.
Yep.
The limited one, yeah.
Exactly. So I don't quite know what to make of that. So I think on the one hand, like, it's a very short title reign, but on the other hand, they fucking skyrocketed him now to the main roster. So what's going to happen with him on Raw? Like, is he going to just fucking go the way of most NXT guys? Is he going to be able to stand out? I honestly have no idea. I feel like based on how he's been as the champ, he's got no fucking chance. But based on how he was on his rise to being champ.
The bit that worries me is what's he going to do on Raw? Is he going to go straight up against Drew McIntyre? And then you go, all right, so you couldn't retain the NXT title against Karrion Kross, and you're going to come straight after McIntyre, who's proven his sort of metal against Seth Rollins and Randy Orton and Big Show. I couldn't even take that one seriously. He's had some. He's took out Brock Lesnar, one of the biggest sort of unstoppable beasts in the business. And we're meant to believe that Keith Lee is going to be a viable candidate straight off the bat. Or is he going to go into the US title scene? No, probably not, because we're still going to have the hair business probably.
Well, do you know,
what's he going to do?
I personally can see it going one of two ways, I think. And firstly, it's him against the hair business. They're trying to recruit him or whatever, because he's black and it's a black stable, whether you want to agree to it or not. It's a new nation domination, but they can't call it that. So they're the hair business, and they're going to go after him, just like they did with Cedric, and he'll be like, no, I don't want anything to do with it. And then he'll be in a feud. He'll have some great matches with Shelton. He'll have a match with MVP, but fucking Bobby Lashley.
MVP is like, hold on.
I mean, for me, I would be interested in seeing Keith Lee versus Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, in all fairness,
I could see that. Or is the Dominic Mysterio and Seth Rollins feud done with? If it is, where does Seth go next? Or do you know what I would love to see actually potentially? Kevin Owens. He's doing fuck all.
No, he's not. He's got a special guest on the Kevin Owens show that nobody asked for. We got Aleister Black this Monday, guys. Get excited.
Yay.
Why? Who fucking knows? So yeah, I mean, all right, they can book him in some stuff that could be viable, but I don't know. I'm just proper salty on the whole way that they've booked it. It's just like, you're fucking shit. You. Do you know what I mean? Like, clearly they wanted to drop both titles off eventually. I just don't know why they did it this way. It just doesn't make sense for me. And again, I've mentioned it before, but they could have had him try and defend both titles on the same night, and that's why he lost. And then you come out looking strong, but not. Do you know what I mean? Still lost, but it's because he had to defend. He had to go into a ladder match for the North American title and then take on Karrion Kross. Anyone would lose that. That would have worked for me.
Yeah.
Hey ho. So that was me first outshouts, as it were. The second one I've already mentioned, but again, just a little bit unsure, a little bit pissed off over Damien Priest being the North American champ now. And then the last one, and I'm curious to know how you feel about this, is this suggestion from everything that went on with the Io Shirai Dakota Kai match. Dakota Kai's got, apologies, I can't remember her name. She's got a lackey. What's her name, Carl? Apologies. I wrote it down anyway. Raquel Gonzalez. So basically, they've had these interruptions from Gonzalez, then they've had Rhea Ripley sort of make the save in that sense. Io has ultimately won the match, but we've had this sort of stare down between Rhea and Gonzalez, which is a match I'm all for. But then as Rhea's leaving, she sort of gives this sort of look back at Io, and that's the bit that I'm not too sure on. Is like, all right, so you're after the title again now. Now Charlotte's out of the picture. And I was annoyed with the way they booked it anyway, because ultimately Io was pinned Rhea for the win and not Charlotte. So Charlotte never dropped the title, technically. You know what I mean? She never took the pin. So we've already seen Io pin Rhea. But now we're meant to be like, oh, Rhea's going to go for the title again. It's like, well, I don't know. The sudden motivation when we're trying to build up her and Gonzalez anyway. Yeah. And then we had, obviously, NXT gone. We were suggesting maybe her and Martinez. So I don't know. Like, what do they want from Rhea is kind of the gripe I've got.
Yeah. No, I think, she's gone from facing Charlotte at fucking WrestleMania to, like, what is she going to do? I'm not really massive on her versus Io Shirai, to be honest. I'd rather see her with what's her face as, like, I can feel like that. I can get behind that match. It's a match I want to see. So
I was on board with either Raquel Gonzalez, and that was the one they sort of clearly were going for, because they sort of stared each other down, and they're both like similar in stature and build, so they were both equally intimidating. But then they also suggested Mercedes Martinez in the past, which I'm fine with as well. Either one works. But I don't get why hint at both. It's like you want to see what the crowd react to and then go with that, you lazy fucks. Who knows? But yeah, that's my last little gripe, is that I'm not big on that going forward. It's like, oh, let's put in the title scene again because we don't know what to do. That being said, all in all, TakeOver wasn't too bad a show. There was some surprise, like for me, some surprises in the likes of Pat Mccaff and that. So I'm going to give it a 3 overall. I think it was a decent show, especially considering what we came off with NXT earlier in the week.
Yeah, I'll completely agree with that. I thought Balor Thatcher was decent. I thought Cole Mccaff was decent, and I thought the main event with Keith Lee and Karrion Kross was decent. And I think Dakota Kai put in a good shift as well. So all in all, gets a 3 for me. The ladder match was meh. For me, to be honest, in terms of who won, and also just the way it's like a 5-man ladder. It just felt like it was thrown together. Yeah, it wasn't a fun.
I mean, the thing is that ladder matches are always enjoyable. Do you know what I mean? Even bad ladder matches are still visually interesting, aren't they? But yeah, probably not. It's never going to go down as the best ladder match we've ever seen, in all fairness.
No.
Well, hello, Carl and Anthony. Hey, it's the hardcore legend Mick Foley saying hello. What a beautiful afternoon it is. Wow, gorgeous May afternoon. There's a view of the river at the Foley compound. Just want to say hello to you guys and let you know that I'm looking forward to listening to you on A to the K, the podcast. I am not yet exposed to much in the world of podcasting, but I think I'm going to start. I hear great things about you guys. I appreciate you being fans. I'm going to go out on a limb and just guess that you guys are big wrestling fans. So I'm going to thank you for your support over the years. Have a nice day.